Hello, hello. Give me just a moment to make sure everything's connected. All right, here we go. All right, it says we are live, and let me make sure that everything is showing up on this end. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Oh, here we go. Hold on. It's a beautiful day. Oh, here we go. I'm trying, I'm working on it. There we go. All right, perfect. Ah, all right. Give me just a second. All right, here we are. So we are streaming out, and it's getting to be easier just as I'm learning a little bit more about how to tweak around all of this stuff, right? All this tech stuff. So, good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad to have you here. And as you arrive, make sure that you say hello in the comments and let me know that you're here. And it doesn't show up on this screen, but it'll show up on this one that I'm watching over here. So, I'll be splitting my attention from both of these things because I want to make sure, because Facebook doesn't stream their comments over here, but I think it still will stream some other comments over here. We shall see. It's a learning process, like I said. So I'm super excited to be here with you this morning, and this is we're getting toward the end of this magical month, and let's just face it, it's not just a magical month, it's a magical life if we choose for it to be, right? We're just focusing on magic this month to solidify in our thoughts about how magical things can be, right? And so I see I've got Joanna on here, and Lynn, thank you so much for being here. And good morning, Lynn. Good morning. So when I'm talking about this magical month, I just want to share a little bit, and I need to look and see in the comments if Raina had gone in and shared. But I had a conversation with her yesterday, and she was telling me some of the things that were going on in her life, and I said, "Girl," I said, "you are manifesting all over the place. You have this magic happening all around you." And she said, "I really do." And so she was going to go in and share in the comments, but she may not have. It was like going to be a very busy day, so I'll check with the. I'll check in the comments or in the thread and see if she did, and if not, I'll reach out to her and ask her to go ahead and share in the group. But then I had a magical call with one of my friends this morning. I just want to share some. So one of my friends, she and we talk every week, typically, to where we have this process that we go through to encourage each other to create and manifest, right? It's an amazing process. And so we've been talking about utilizing a lot of this stuff that she and I are doing and writing a book about it. And so this morning, as we were talking, we said, let's do it. Let's just go ahead and plan it. And so she lives in North Carolina. And so we were trying to decide an area to actually go to and maybe do a long weekend sometime in the fall. And so I said, the Blue Ridge Mountains are, and she starts telling me where she thinks would be a great place to go. And it'd be kind of between us. And I said, well, geography is not really my strong suit, but, I said, I do have a client that has a cabin in the mountains somewhere and in Blue Ridge, but Blue Ridge is huge, right? The Blue Ridge Mountains stretch really far. So I said, let me check with her and get a link, and we can just kind of look at it, and we can look at some other places, and we can decide where we want to go. Good morning, Heather. I see you're here. Just say hello in the comments if you don't mind, and join the conversation. Not that we're having a conversation yet, but I'm just explaining some magic that's happening right now. So anyway, back to my story. We were having this conversation about where she was thinking would be a good place to go. And she said the last time that they came through Atlanta to go somewhere, they saw something, and it would be a good place to check out. Good morning from South Carolina. Glad to have you here. And so as we're talking, I said, I've got this client has a cabin, and I said I'll just message her and get the link. I'll send it to you, and then you can check some Airbnbs, and we can just kind of go ahead and start planning and putting it in the books, because we're going to manifest this getting together and talking about this book and having a long weekend and putting a lot of the stuff into place, right? And so I reach out to my client. She sends me a link to her cabin in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So I send it to my friend. And she knew, because we had just talked just a little while ago, she knew that I was getting ready to go on the live, but she called and I thought, oh my gosh, what is it? And she said, oh my gosh, Vicki, you are not going to believe this. And I said, what? She said, that's in the exact area that I was talking about this morning. That I said, when my husband and I were driving and I saw something, and I said, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to get a cabin somewhere near here and stay for a weekend or something? And she said, Vicki, it is the exact area. And I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, that's pretty magical. Just think about it. She's talking about a place that I don't have a clue where she's talking about, because I'm not that versed on exactly where everything is in the Blue Ridge Mountains, right? And I reach out to my client and talk to her, or get a message from her that has the video of the place and all the information. I share it with her, because it was like I just all of a sudden I remembered, oh, I know somebody that has a cabin. Let me just check and see. And there it was, exactly where she was talking about. So now we're going to be looking at this and trying to figure out a date that we can do this together. And so there's a book in the works. She and I are making it happen. And so in the fall, we are going to be going to this cabin. And right now, I feel like it will be this cabin, because it's exactly where she said would be a perfect place between the two of us, because it's a little bit of a drive for me and a little bit of drive for her. But it's going to be perfect, right? So I'm super excited about that magic that happened this morning, right? So I've got a few people on here. So let me know, is there something magical that might have happened for you already today that maybe you didn't see as magic in the moment, but it ends up, when you think about it, it's very magical. Like I said, I talked to Raina yesterday, and she didn't recognize a lot of the things that were happening for her as magical. And it's like, wait a minute, look at this. And so she realized, wow, I am manifesting magic all the time. And she's actually a hypnosis client. We've worked together a couple of times, and a coaching client and hypnosis. So it's beautiful to be able to help her to see all of that. And so I want to help you see that there may be magic happening in your life right now that you might not have noticed, right? Like, I think it was Lynn, I think it was you that shared the penny thing in the group, because I talk about the penny a lot, getting out of the car, seeing a penny, picking it up and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, sticking it in your bag, and just letting that be part of your abundance, of your manifesting magic, because I think I've shared with the group, but I will share it again, that I went to a conference, a retreat kind of thing. Yes, it was Lynn. Yes. So I went to this conference, and it was I even forgot who the facilitator was, but it doesn't really matter. But one of the processes that they took us all through, and it was all about mindset and where we were kind of capping ourselves and how we can expand, right? And so in this conference, they had us all sitting in the chair. They had us close our eyes, and they took us like through this process of getting relaxed, and like it's almost like a meditation that they were doing. And they said in this process that they were going to be taking, and they were going to be putting pennies throughout the auditorium, and there was a lot of people there, and that when they told us to open our eyes, we were to collect as many pennies as we wanted, right? And so when I opened my eyes, the first thing I did was I looked down, and there were pennies all around me. So I picked up some of those pennies, and I saw there were pennies going up the the aisle, but I didn't go out there because I collected my pennies, right? And I didn't want to take anybody else's pennies because I thought maybe some people on the ends, maybe they didn't have as much and they needed, because I was like the third person in on the row or whatever. And so they gave us all of a sudden they said, okay, stop. And there were pennies everywhere, right? I mean, everywhere. And so then they asked, who has not found any pennies? And there were several people that were wandering around trying to find pennies. They couldn't find any. And so what they were doing is they said, okay, and so let's put these people over here and we'll talk to them in a minute. So how many people found pennies, but when they realized that somebody around them hadn't found any pennies, they gave them theirs? And there were people that raised their hand and did that. And then how many people found a bunch of pennies but didn't keep looking because they didn't want to take somebody else's penny? I raised my hand, of course, you know. And so what they were showing us so eloquently in the process was that sometimes we have the mindset, which is what mine was at the time, that I'll collect my stuff, but I don't want to take too much because I'll be taking away from somebody else. So I was limiting how much money I could make, how much money I could pull in because I didn't want to take from someone else, right? And then those people that were that ended up giving their pennies away, it's like they either spend all their money, they give their money away, they're taking care of everybody else and not themselves. So they're giving away all of their prosperity, right? And then those people, and there was another one in there, but I don't remember it. And then those people that couldn't find pennies, it's like they have their blinders on and they can't see ideas. They can't see prosperity that's right in front of them. But I mean, because when they went back to their seats after they did this whole process, there were still pennies around where they had gotten up from to go find the pennies. Right? They didn't even see the pennies that were all around them. And so reason I'm bringing this up, it's not just the penny story I tell people about grabbing your penny, but it's recognizing, where do you fall in that? Where are you overlooking your ideas, your fortune? Where are you giving away your ideas, your fortune? Where are you holding back because you don't want to take from someone else? Where do you fall in that? And then just go ahead and decide that that's not going to be me anymore. I'm going to see the prosperity around me. I'm going to see the magic that's showing up in my life, because I'm telling you, there is magic there. You're just not seeing it. Right? It's like my thing about my car. Thank you for that, Heather. I loved it too. It was such an eye-opening experience. It's been many years ago, and it definitely changed my life to go through that process. So the other analogy I have is I own a Prius, right? And so those that have been watching me for a while, they know that because I share this story. But when I decided I wanted a Prius, it was because I had never seen one. I had never experienced one. I'd never driven one, but an ad or something came up and there was one for sale, and I was just intrigued. Gas prices were really high, I thought, and I was driving at the time, I was driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee with a Hemi. You talk about some power and some gas guzzling, right? And I thought, why do I have this mega car? Maybe it would be good for me to get something else. And so when this ad popped up, I thought, ooh, that sounds intriguing. So I went and looked at the car. I liked it. I bought it. And like I said, I'd never seen these cars really on the road. But after I bought that car, I saw them everywhere, even the same color. It was like, did they only make this color of car? And then I'm finding that there's other colors and they're everywhere. And then one day I went to the grocery store, and I came out of the grocery store, and the entire row where my car was parked was all Priuses, different colors and everything. I thought, holy smokes, right? It's like, was it there all along and I never saw it? Yes, that's the facts. Because before I had a Prius, I would not have noticed all those Priuses in that row. I would have noticed I had a Jeep. I would have noticed all the Jeeps. right? And so it's like we only notice what we focus on. So that's why this month is the magic of month, because I really want you to grab the magic in your life, recognize it, and expand on it. Because, oh, a magical life, doesn't that feel and sound delicious? Holy smokes. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to share the affirmation in just a moment. But if you're really wanting to hone in on this magical month, I mean, there's not much left of the month, but there's a hell of a lot of magic left, right? So if you want to be part of the magic and just grab more magic for the end of this month, there's just a few days left of this month. What if they could be so magical that it just like blows your mind, right? Like before I started focusing on magic, what I have noticed, the magic of this morning, my conversation with my friend and how it all just played out, that everything was exactly where she wanted and talked about, or would we have thought it was a coincidence? Oh, that's pretty cool. But it's magical. So if you want to have some magic for this month, just put a 1 in the comments. Let me know that you're up for the magic. And I'm going to go ahead and share. Hold on a second. All right. Okay. Our affirmation for this morning. And I know there's a little bit of a delay from me sharing it here and it's showing up on Facebook. Oh, there it goes. So the affirmation for today is: nature whispers its secrets to me, revealing its hidden magic. Ooh, doesn't that sound nice, right? Because one of the things that is amazing, if you're having a blocked period in your life, or you're stressed over something, whatever is going on, if you'll get outside in nature and walk around, I mean, hug a tree for God's sake. I mean, it's amazing. It will connect you to yourself and to the earth so completely. But getting out and walking and noticing the nature and not being on your phone, but being in the present moment with nature, you will be shocked at the amount of ideas and things that will come to you and the feelings that come to you, because it's like a different feeling when you can connect with nature. And so, one of the things that I do, I carry my phone with me when I go on these nature walks. However, I'm not carrying my phone to be listening to things or talking on the phone. I'm actually carrying my phone so that I can ask Siri. I say it. Oh, she's already talking. Nope. Stop. Have to be careful what you say, right? So anyway, because she's always listening. But thank goodness she is, because when I'm walking, I just ask her to put this thought in a note for me. This thought. And as I'm walking, it's like this thought and this thought. And then when I get back, I can look at my notes and see all the ideas that came to me, because I used to not do that. I would walk and I would get these thoughts and I think, oh, that's brilliant. I love it. I'll write that down when I get home. Right? When I'd get home, it was like, what was that thought? It was brilliant. It was brilliant. What was it? What was it? Well, I couldn't bring it back up, right? So the thing is that I now will, when I'm walking, I will get my notes and put things in there so that when I get back, it's written down. And maybe it's not as brilliant when I get home and I look at it as I thought it was when I was walking, but that's okay. But there are some that it's like, oh man, I am so glad that I put that in my notes. And so you have to, you take all your thoughts, all the amazing thoughts that you think and epiphanies that you have, you put them in your notes as you're walking. And when you get back, then you can discern, oh, yeah, I like that one. That one I'll put to the side. Oh, I like that. And it gives you so much clarity and so many ideas for life, for business, for love, for relationships, for everything. And so the affirmation, nature whispers its secrets to me. Because if you're out there in nature and you're listening, oh, it's great, right? So it's like God's voice in your head listening, and it'll reveal all this stuff that you're just not even most of the time aware of. And that's what we're working on, is being aware, because getting out in nature, listening to the sounds, the birds, like right now I'm near a window and I can hear the birds chirping outside. I can, and it's glorious. I love it. And I have wind chimes in my backyard, and I love going out there and just sitting sometimes with just breathing and listening. And sometimes I hear traffic. Sometimes I hear planes. I hear dogs barking. I hear the wind. I hear the leaves rustling. There's so much that I can just encompass within me, and it just grounds me and puts me in the moment. And that's when we can magically discover ideas and things. And so let me go ahead and go to the journal prompt. And remember, the affirmation, you put it on a sticky note, put it on your index card, you put it on your mirror with a chalk marker, you put it as your screensaver on your phone, anywhere that you can. But it's not just saying the words, it's feeling the words, right? So when you think about it, it's like, oh man, nature whispers its secrets to me. And then it reveals its hidden magic. Magic is coming at me, at a rate that is just mind-blowing sometimes. And I am open to it. So you see, that's a little bit different than just saying nature whispers its secrets to me, revealing its hidden magic. So give it your gusto, give it your heart, your feelings, and make it so, right? Make it so. It's all in your control. All right, so now on to the journal prompt. Here we go. Spend some time in nature and then journal about a moment where nature seemed to speak to you or reveal something new. What did you discover? And so put this in your journal. Like some people in the group, they have journals specifically for these affirmations and journal prompts. So if that's you, then definitely do that. But if you put other things in your journal and you want to add this in there, that's great too. It's just, I like the idea of a journal that's just for this. And it's primarily so that you can keep track a little bit more and go back and look, because whatever nature is whispering to you today, and then you come back and you look in a few months and you say, it whispered that to me, and now it's true. Now it is me. What is it whispering to me now? And so it gives you an amazing way to look back at the changes that you've had in your life, because when we make a 1% change every day, that is our goal. We don't have to make these quantum leaps, because sometimes that's too scary. Sometimes that's not sustainable, however enjoyable it might be in the moment. But when you can make these little micro changes in your life that can be imperceptible or unperceptible, what is the word? In the moment, right? The next day, like whatever we change today, tomorrow, that's our new normal. And then the next day, that's our new normal. So over time, we lose track of all those changes we've made. And this is a great way to measure it. It's like I had someone on my podcast yesterday, and his English is his second language. And he said he didn't think he was doing that good with English. Well, I didn't have any problem understanding him. And I thought he was very eloquent in the way he spoke. I loved his accent, but he really felt like his accent was a hindrance. I said, hey, it's a beautiful accent. And I said, there are people all over the world that have accents. I love to listen to them. I've got a Southern accent. I don't know how many people love listening to a Southern accent, but I got one, right? But it's just part of you. But I said, how long have you been doing this learning to speak English, and how long have you been speaking in front of a camera as an English speaking? And he actually, brilliant mother, I will tell you. His mother, and I forgot what country he's in, but his mother, when he was really young, put him in English speaking school so that he would have a better education and better opportunities, right? And so now he is there in his country teaching teenagers and adults how to speak English, right? But so I'm getting to this because I asked him, I said, so how long you've been doing these videos? He'd been doing them for a while. And I said, okay. I said, have you ever gone back and looked at your old videos? And he said, no. And I said, well, I think you're not recognizing how much growth you've had, because there's no way, if you've been doing these videos for a while and you've been talking in front of the camera for a while, that you haven't changed. So go back and look at those. And I also, it's a thing, like I'm one of those people that I lost a lot of weight. And it's been quite a while since I did. And so sometimes I forget where I came from. And because I start noticing that, there's still 20, 25 pounds that I play with all the time, right? But I forget that I released 75 pounds. And when I look back at those pictures, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's me. And so it's not that it's going to be, it may be that big a difference when you look back in 6 months at what this nature was whispering to you. But wouldn't it be amazing to have this in a place where you can come back periodically and see how much you've grown, how much you've changed, and how much you love all the changes that have happened in your life? So I'm asking you to put this in the journal, put this in a notebook, put it somewhere, and put the affirmation at the top, put the journal prompt, put the date, so that when you go back and you look at it, you can be, wow, I can't believe how much I've grown, how much I've learned, how much I've changed, and how I love the changes, right? And that's what all of this is for, is to help you to grow and become who you choose to be, because it's all a choice. And so I appreciate you showing up today and participating in this magical group. I love this group, Make Lasting Change, because it is full of people that are looking to change their lives in a better way, right? Because change is change. It's like sometimes we're changing, but it ain't so good, right? And so that's when the politicians start shouting change. Let's change, change, change. I'm thinking, okay, where are you changing us to? Let's talk about that. So you make a choice in doing this process. And the other thing is not only to write out your affirmation, your journal prompt, and do these things, but go into the group, the Make Lasting Change group, where there's so much support and community there. Go in there and share. Just say, I'm making magical changes today. That would be amazing. Hashtag Peachy Vibes. I mean, share, share, share. And it's like when you speak out something, like I told you, my friend and I, we were talking this morning about planning something for the fall. And I said, man, we got to start. We got to look things up. We've got to go ahead and plan. We got to speak it out, because when you speak it out, you bring it, right? So whatever needs to happen for us to make this happen, it's here. It's coming to us. It's here. And so it's adopting that attitude and putting things in the group so that you're speaking it out, you're taking ownership of whatever the magic is that's coming for you, right? Take ownership of it. And that is one of the things that you do. Share in the group. Just make a little quick post. Whatever it is that is lighting you up, post about it. Share some magic that's happened in your life, and then the people that are in there will see that you're magic, and they think, oh, wow, I didn't realize that was magic. Here's my magic. And so you're helping other people by sharing yours. And so, for those that are watching this in other places besides our Make Lasting Change group, if this feels like a place where you would call home, that you would love to be, then all you have to do is go to vickypoole.com. That's VICKIEPOOLE.com. And then you'll be prompted with some questions to join the group. And you have to answer the questions, all the questions, because there's only certain things that I can do to assess somebody's level of desire to be in the group. And, I'm a little limited on that, but that is one solid thing that I can look at. If you don't answer all the questions, then you're not a good fit. And I know that things come up sometimes, and I've done it myself where I clicked something and all of a sudden, heck, where did the questions go? And so if that something like that happens, what I do is I reach out and I say, hey, you didn't answer all the questions. If you would go back in and answer the questions, you'll be admitted into the group ASAP. And then if they don't answer the questions after a few days, then I just go ahead and delete them from the queue, assuming, of course, we know what assuming is, right? But assuming that they are not ready to be in the group and be a participant and actively helping and growing with everybody else. And so if you are looking at this and watching this and feeling like it would be a good place for you to be, make sure you just go ahead and go to vickypoole.com and ask to be part of the group, because it is a beautiful, magical group. I go live every single day in that group. Mondays is our celebration at 2 p.m. Eastern. The rest of the time, it's normally 9 a.m. Eastern, except on Sundays, it's 10 a.m. Eastern. I like to sleep in a little bit on Sundays. But I'm here every day at some time in some capacity, unless something happens to prevent it, and then I try to get in at some point. But I'm saying all that to let you know that I'm invested amazingly deep into this group, and I want to make sure that this group stays so great in who everybody is. And like I like to say, I feel like this group is my family, my friends. They're tight-knit friends, right? And it's like we're sitting in my backyard around a campfire singing Kumbaya and just really, really getting close and encouraging one another and being there for one another. And so I will ask you, if you are actually in the group Make Lasting Change and you know someone who would really benefit from this group and from this amazing community, then definitely reach out to them in a private message and say, hey, I'm part of this group and I love it. And here's the link. I would love to have you join us. Bring your friends in, make sure they're like-minded friends, and let's just expand our reach, or expand our connection, our vibrational connection with others. All right. So you have an amazingly magical, blessed day, and I can't wait to hear all the magical things that are showing up in your life. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, right here. Mwah.